Did you know that 61% of small business owners struggle to scale because they don't have the right systems in place? And for purpose-driven women entrepreneurs, the challenge isn't just about growth. It's about building a business that honors their faith, their values, and the vision that they have without burning out. I'm your host, Beverly Cornell. I'm the founder and fairy godmother of Brand Clarity at Wickedly Branded. With over 25 years of experience, I've helped hundreds of purpose-driven entrepreneurs awaken their brand magic and boldly bring it to life so that they can magnify their impact on the world. Today's guest is a woman who blends both her faith and operations like no other. Shanae Walker is the founder of The Silent Partner, a business and operations strategist who helps Christian women entrepreneurs build profitable, purposeful businesses without the overwhelm. Oh, we need lots of that, Shanae. Without the overwhelm. That's the part that's the magic. She's a systems queen, which I absolutely love, with over 20 years of experience in operations and sales and leadership. And she's on a mission to help women align their businesses with their faith and scale with grace. Shanae, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Beverly, for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for the intro. It's amazing. And I love how you bring in your brand and your energy. It's just really great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I'm trying to live out my 12-year-old self with my magic and unicorns and all those things that I feel like we can still have a little bit of that as an older person. I try to infuse it into everything because I just think it makes work more fun. My team thinks it's more fun. I have tons of unicorns and my shelves over here. Magic is, for us, I think it's very real. And I think we all create it when we are living our purpose, the things that God has given us, the skills, the gifts, those kinds of things. So tell me a little bit about how you started The Silent Partner. It sounds like you have lots of experience, but was there a spark or a moment that really said to you, I need to start this and this is why?
So I was actually probably doing it way before it had a name. I was the go-to person for my friends and family and people that I knew. And they were saying, hey, I need help with this, or I'm building this business. Can you give me some advice? Or just, I'm working on this huge project. Can you help me organize it or strategically plan?
Yeah.
And so I was building this business, doing all the things. And one day a friend of mine came to me and she was like, hey, I am starting from the ground up, grassroots, building this financial literacy company and I need help. I don't know exactly what I need, but I know I need help organizing, strategizing, just working through all the things. And I was like, okay, let's put it together. So we just sat down and got to work. And from there, it just formed into what we have now, The Silent Partner. So it's been just an amazing journey. That was about 5 years ago.
5 years ago. I feel like those first few moments when you're trying to figure out like this is going to be a legitimate business or quote unquote real business. I feel like sometimes we feel like there's a business in there, but when it becomes like a real grown-up business, I joke, that is an interesting transition. How did you transition from working for others to working for yourself? And what was that process like for you?
So I actually still balance both. And that's one of the things that I work with my clients because a lot of my clients are balancing both too.
Yeah.
And that's only because I have an amazing team and I'm able to work with these wonderful women, these wonderful clients that I have. But there's a time that I did transition fully into entrepreneurship. I was at a point where I was like, you know what? The only way that I'm going to really push myself forward is if I do this and just basically take the jump off the ledge.
Yeah.
I knew that I had this gift. I knew I had this purpose and talent. And there were so many people who were calling me for it. There were people who were asking me for it. It came to a point where I had no other choice but to just jump.
Yep.
And it's scary and it's crazy and
amazing,
it's wild of us around. Yes. But also very fulfilling, very much in alignment with what I'm called.
Yeah.
Very much a heart journey for me. And it was just time to move forward and really take a leap on the business.
Yeah, I was shoved into it. I went kicking and screaming. I wasn't planning on ever being an entrepreneur. I always say I'm an accidental entrepreneur, but I married an active duty Army husband. So I had to take my show on the road, essentially. I figured it out. Like I had to figure it all out. But I had worked for a tech startup before I started that. And I knew how much work it was. So I think I was very realistic about my strengths and also my weaknesses. where I needed to have some support for sure. One thing that I think is so wonderful, I always tell my clients, we always encourage them to really niche down and get super specific with their target market. And I love that you specifically help Christian women entrepreneurs. Tell me, how did that happen? What led you there? Talk about that process.
Oh, Beverly, very much like you were pushed into entrepreneurship, I was pushed into my niche. So I started off really focusing on all service-based businesses. That was the place that I lived in. I had clients from all different fields and interests and industries. And I was on a journey to really find out where I was supposed to be, find my true purpose, right? And I was digging through things. I was in prayer, asking God. I was fasting. I was doing all the things to figure out what my next steps were. And I had went through a place of a weird transition where I was going through some things and wasn't able to figure out how I was going to make my next moves. And so as soon as that happened, I had God really speak to me about focusing in on women, specifically women in entrepreneurship, because I knew I had a gift in ministry and a gift in business. And I was like, no, I don't think that's what I want to do. And I just kept hearing it, kept getting the yes, do this. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. But eventually I just grabbed a hold of it and went full steam ahead. And I have not looked back since. It's just been growing. And I get such great feedback from people who are like, I needed this combination of both. I needed business and faith. This is where I was, and I need someone who is going to sit on the call and pray with me. I need someone who is going to tell me when I am not in alignment with the plan that we created. I need someone who's going to give me the push when I am in a place where I feel like everything around me is not working.
Yeah.
And so I just think that's an amazing opportunity to bring both those faith and business together. And I'm just so grateful that God has really assigned me to do this work.
I love this so much because it's so you. It's so a part of who you are. I converted to Catholicism in 2015. I've always been spiritual, but I became much more religious at the time and was studying things and asking questions and just doing all kinds of work in that space. And I started my business end of 2011. About this time I started my business is when I went on this kind of journey before I actually converted. I married my husband who's Catholic. He's Irish Catholic. And we had kids and we started talking about how we're going to raise our children. And I felt like if I did not do what we're asking our children to do, then I was just talking the talk and not walking the walk. And that's how I live my life with my business. Actually, I'm a Stevens leader and I'm a Stevens leader trainer. So I can actually train ministers to help in the church. Also, I'm a Bible school teacher. That's part of my faith. That is very much a part of my life. And I think it's a whisper that becomes like louder and won't let you escape from it. That whisper that kind of grows inside of you is the universe. It's God is telling you this is right or wrong. And if we live in alignment, if we trust that intuition, if we trust ourselves, women have amazing connections to this world we live in. And if we don't connect there and we don't live in alignment, that's when burnout happens a lot with my clients. So I'd love that you listen to the whisper, maybe had to yell at you, but there's a message. And if we don't listen to it or honor it, it can get difficult, I feel like.
Yes, absolutely.
I love that. So I say purpose-driven women, you say Christian women. It's the same thing. It's somebody who knows what they're supposed to do on this earth and they want to make an impact and do something that's going to serve others. I think of marketing as serving, like we're helping to solve a problem. And when you come from a Christian background or a space where religion matters, I think that servant leadership is huge. My husband serves the country. My mom was a nurse. My dad was a teacher. Talk about service. Like that's been my whole life. So it's a big part of who I am. And all of my team has gone to a Christian university. Like it's a big part of my life as well. I haven't prayed with a client before, interestingly. The Catholics are a little different with some of that stuff. But I love my Catholic faith. I went to a Baptist preschool. I've studied theology. It's very different and unique. But I cheer them on, believe in them. Jesus never let us walk alone. And I never want them to walk alone. Because a lot of times we're the first purchase they've made. Marketing services, a website. Absolutely. It's the first vendor they've hired. It might be a bookkeeper, it might be us, but it's usually one of the first. And we get down gritty of profit and stuff like that. So it's the first time they're trusting someone to that degree with their business. And I feel like we do walk with them on their journey to find their confidence. And it's such an amazing process, Shanae. And I'm incredibly honored to be in that process with a woman who's finding her purpose, impacting the world. I love it, love it, love it.
I love what you said about servant leadership, because that's truly where I feel that I thrive in as well. That's one of my gifts I took. I don't know if you know the Strength Finders
Yep.
2.0. Yeah. So one of my gifts is a servant. And I think that people sometimes think of servants as lowly or not someone who they would want to aspire to. But it's a huge piece of who we are and who we're created to be. And I think it's important for us to remember Jesus. I call him Yeshua because Hebrew name. Even Yeshua is someone who is focused in on serving. That's what he came to do. And if he can do it, well, then how much more should we be actively going after serving other people and helping them? I believe that's what we're called to do.
I think the challenge that women have, though, is we serve so many people.
We do. Absolutely.
And our hearts are so big and we love so big and we want to help everyone. And that's where when you are scaling and when you have operations and when you are trying to go that next level, that you need help because you cannot simply do everything yourself, despite the fact that you think you're superhuman as a woman. Gosh, like we give birth, right? But you are also human. And that is something to tell my listeners, you don't have to do it all by yourself. You don't have to walk alone on this journey. There are people who have walked before you. There are people who can walk beside you. I have a really good friend. Her name is Adriana, and she's a therapist. And she says you need to give from the overflow, not from the cup. So you need to make sure that you're not giving so much of yourself that you lose yourself in the service side of it.
Absolutely.
I've been there. I remember some moments where I've been there. I don't know, Shanae, have you been there? Have you been those moments where you're like, this is not what I had intended ever? And I might just close my doors because it's too much. Other than that, have you been there?
Absolutely. To be very honest, I've had times over the last month that I was like, you know what? This is a lot. And what I had to do was circle back to, okay, couple of things. One, what system can I put in place? Because something is broken or missing or needs to be revamped. That was one piece. And even a system, not even specifically in my business, but like, how am I spending my time? Where am I pushing into? What is the most important thing that I can be focused on right now?
Yeah.
Because as you did mention, we do, as women, we carry families, we have businesses, we have jobs, we have maybe church things, ministry, we have soccer practice and everything, and maintaining a home. So I have to think about the systems, not only in my business, but in my life. We have 4 pillars that we really focus in on: life, love, faith, and business, because all of those things are important when it comes to creating a successful, profitable business. And we're looking at things like, okay, in my life, what am I focused on that I need to pivot? What systems can I put into place? Can I maybe create a family calendar that everybody's on the same page? Can I talk to my husband about picking the kids up because I need to focus in on this work? Am I overexhausting myself in one space or another that it's time for me to pull back out of? In my business, do I have the right client, the right team in place to help me move forward? Because that's going to help you to understand, do I need people who are experts in this field? Or do I need someone who I can give a process to and they can just get it done? Just thinking through all those different places and what is needed for your business and for your life are so important.
So I heard a couple of things that really resonated. One is the family calendar. I have the family calendar. It is like the Bible for our lives, for my own sanity. My husband being active duty, he's gone a lot. So I carry extra load because my husband's not always around. So that is something that I have to carry. You listed all these things of what we have to do. We have to serve our families. We have to serve all these places you have to serve. And I actually was like, I need a nap just after the listing. It is a very real struggle. And I think a couple of things that has helped me in this process, and you alluded to it too, was what are the things that drive me that like really speak to that whisper, the thing that I'm supposed to be doing? What are the drivers? What makes me super excited? What can I not wait to do? I literally at 3 a.m., I'm like, oh, I got to do that thing. That's the thing you need to do more of because that's your purpose. That's where you were meant to sit. And then the other side of it is drainers. Those things that just you put off, you procrastinate. Maybe I can do that tomorrow and then tomorrow. And then you're like, oh crap, I got to get that done today. The things that I know I don't like to do and the things I have offloaded, delegated, created a process, some kind of automation, things that will remove the drainers so that I have more mental space to serve in my drivers, because that's where I'm supposed to spend my time. And to be really honest, that's where I'm most profitable.
I think one other D, if we're doing Ds, is distractions. And distractions can look all kind of ways, but there are things that take us away from where we're supposed to be. And there are even things that we do in order to procrastinate the things that we're supposed to be doing.
We were talking about this a little bit earlier. You say you have a 4-pronged approach that you're going to explain probably here in a second, but we talk about the journey to being really good at your messaging and your branding as you first start with your purpose and your why and your mindset of success and where you're supposed to go and all of that. And that is your Tin Man. We are wickedly branded. So we have a whole Wizard of Oz theme when we talk about this. That is your Tin Man. It's all your heart. It's everything that matters with you. And then you want to make sure you look at your skill set, what you're the best at. That's probably going to be a driver. And also the systems, which is Shanae's thing. That's the scarecrow, your skill set and your systems and your processes. That's what's going to get the needle moving to be able to scale. And then the last part of it, that last element is once you have systems and process and mindset and you know your purpose and you know your niche, you know all these things, then you got to show up in front of your brand. You got to be visible. You have some courage like the cowardly lion. But we always say in that process, there's 2 things that can get in your way. One is the man behind the curtain. The man behind the curtain is more education, more certifications. I need this because I feel like an imposter, like I don't belong. When all along you've belonged, you don't need the man behind the curtain. You are the wizard. You don't need the man behind the curtain. And then the other thing we say is the flying monkeys come in. Those are the distractions. Those are the doubts and the fears and all the things that get in the way of you really sitting in alignment and in your purpose. And so this is imposter syndrome. This is procrastination. This is a little bit of denial or you're not being realistic with yourself. And entrepreneurs love to build. So we're always looking at ways to grow and build. And sometimes without focus and that clear path, you can get very distracted by the next shiny object that comes along your way. And you were maybe on the cusp of success. Pivoted too soon or you moved away too soon and didn't fully focus there. And I feel attacked only because I always feel like I can get better. I think I'm pretty good now. I very much protect my time. I chunk and stack. I habit build. Like I do all these different things. I have processes, I have SOPs. Like I have all the things, but I still feel there are things that I don't do that I'm supposed to do or that I do I shouldn't be doing. And I don't know if it's because I'm D or I'm just an entrepreneur.
I think a lot of times we build and then it's, oh, will they really buy it? Oh, is this really feeling like it's something? Yes, it all starts to creep in on us. So one of our P's that we really focus on is perception, really understanding like who you are, why you're doing what you're doing. But more than that, like running through, does this thing push me forward or does it move me back? And then in my mindset, am I saying, yes, I can do it? Yes, I have everything I need to move forward. Yes, I am someone who has this skill set. We had a therapist come in and talk to my clients. She just talked about how sometimes we get so caught up in our own mind. And the thing is, anxiety is when you're thinking too much in the future. Depression is when you're thinking too much in the past. And we're so caught in one space. So we really talk through that perception of how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your brand, how you feel about the people that you're working with, those types of things. But also that perception of how you feel is mirrored to your clients, to your audience. It's important to make sure that you are in a place that you are really speaking to the brand, you're speaking to your message, you're really focusing in on your stakeholders and your clients and who they're working with, because running through that process of self-doubt and distraction and all those things show up in how you speak to other people. And so that's why we really focus in on that perception piece. What does it look like? What are you pushing out to the world?
Another P that fits in that perception is perfection. I think so many high-performing women, which most of us who are entrepreneurs are very high-performing women. We need a coach. We need a therapist. We need a coach that helps us get to where we want to go. A therapist to get through all the crap we have behind us, what we carry with us, and this idea of perfection. So many of our clients feel like paralyzed in this perfection mindset that they can't move forward. And we say, just take a step, just progress over perfection every day.
Absolutely.
That is where the magic sits. Those little steps add up. And before you know it, it's a year later and you've done this amazing thing. And I promise anyone that you respect and admire doing the thing that you think is amazing, Look at their first video. Look at their first website. They were right there with you. It's a process. And through the progress, you find yourself. You find your voice. You find the things that are in alignment with you. And you find your power in that.
Absolutely. I use P's a lot because we're a partner with you. We're the silent partner. We partner with you.
This is the 4 pillars that you have. What are your 4 pillars?
Yeah. So we have a framework of the 4 P's because we love the P's. And we start with purpose. We start with clarity of your mission, your gifts, your skills, your talents, all the things that align with you, with who God is calling you to be. Absolutely. And so that's really important. Why does this matter? Who am I helping? What purpose do I have to bring this to other people? So really understanding that. And we talk about creating a purpose statement. We talk about really going through what you liked as a child. What are your talents? What are your gifts? What do people call you to do? What do you do that's so effortless that other people are like, oh, I'll just call Beverly to help me with my marketing. She's great at this. She's helping with branding. So really diving into your purpose. The next one is perception that I talked through, understanding who you are, who you're called to be, and making sure that we're going through those things of like self-doubt and imposter syndrome, just making sure that what we feel about ourselves, we can push out to our clients, push out to our audience, and making sure that is in alignment with what we're doing. Does having a clear brand messaging matters because you want to make sure that you are pushing the right information out to your clients, but that starts here.
Okay, Shanae, say it again. Where does it start? Why is it so important? Everyone needs to listen.
Though, pointing out, making sure that you are right here in a good place pushes out to everyone else you're speaking to, your target audience, even your family. It makes a difference when you start with the woman who you are inside, when what you're telling yourself about you. And that you're reminding you that you are a queen. You know exactly what you're supposed to do. You have everything you need to move forward. That's where it starts, right here.
And she's pointing to her heart. She's pointing to her soul.
Yes.
It starts with our purpose and our passion and our why and our heart. That drives everything. When you are clear there, decision-making for the rest of the business becomes much easier. Absolutely. When you are clear there, it drives so much. That is like gold. I love that you asked them about what they like when they were a child. Like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we started the recording, I said, yeah, I like tapping into my inner 12-year-old, right? I love unicorns and magic and sparkle and shiny. And if you can't see me, I have pink hair. And I just turned 50 last week. But I feel like those things make me happy. I believe in the goodness of the world, and they are reminders of my magic. And you sometimes need to remind yourself of your magic and your purpose and your why. I actually have a pair of very shiny shoes. They have sparkles all over them, and I call them my iridescent slippers, not my ruby slippers. And when I wear those, I just feel like an inch taller. I just feel more magical when I wear them. You have to really lean into that because it filters into everything else. It filters to your home life, to your team, your clients. If you could hear anything today, please, the clarity of your purpose and why. And I know it seems like a box to check sometimes for entrepreneurs. I want you to like really sit in it. Like why this feels right. Why this is so important. What is the transformation like? And why is that so important that you're offering?
Absolutely.
What is your story, your individual story, your trauma, your relationships, your failures, your successes, how that all builds to that purpose and why and your skill set and how you become the perfect guide for someone else who is experiencing the world and needs you. And if you don't show as yourself with all of that beautiful messiness, you'll never find the people you were meant to serve.
Absolutely. And that's the other 2 P's. And I love that. So the other 2 P's are productivity, creating the processes and having systems in place for your day-to-day operations because of all the mess. And then people. The last P is people, your team, your partners, your family, your community who you serve, your clients. All of those things are important because you want to make sure that you are doing the right thing by your people, but also having the right people in place. It's really important to think about when you're walking now, what is this business doing? Who am I? What do I want this business to do? Who am I serving? Those P's really come into play because all of those are aligned. And I talk to my clients about, purpose isn't just one area of your life. As you just mentioned, it touches everything. And when you are aligned and you know your purpose, not only will it help you in your business, it'll help you have better relationships. You have better understanding of how you need to even keep your body, what things you want to put into your body, how you want to treat yourself, how you want to treat your mind. It helps with your people around you. It just touches every single area of your life. And that's why it's important. And that's why you can't, as you mentioned, just check a box because it is so important.
Please don't check a box. It's so much more than that, like a little statement you have come up on your business plan. Please don't do that. So tell me a story of someone you worked with and how you helped them and what that looks like.
That's great. We have clarity calls. We have our Faith and Focus VIP days. We work one-on-one, and then we also do group coaching. We live in our 4 pillars of life, love, faith, and business. And it's really important to really incorporate all of those things. One of my current clients, we work with her to really build up those operational pieces and processes that are aligned with not only her life, but also, of course, mostly her business. The first place you should always work in, as you mentioned, is marketing. Sales and marketing should be your first process you really firm up because it's going to be the most important. You have to bring in revenue. Otherwise, we're dealing with the hobby, right? And so we want to really bring in that revenue. So we were working with her on really building out her products, building out the things that she needed. And one of the things that we also were pushing, she wanted to speak more. She wanted to have more speaking engagement. So we were working on getting her some more speaking engagements, and she was able to land a international speaking engagement. It was amazing. It was a great opportunity to really work with her and help her build her process. But it's not just about what we did for her. It's about how she feels now. She's very confident she knows that I have this skill set that is not just here, it's international. It's something that people are looking for. In her speaking engagement was UK. And it also speaks to now she's a new wife. She's also a new bonus mom and bonus grandma. She's balancing all these things. So we're now working through the streamlining of her intake process, of her getting more booking engagements, and really walking through what steps do we need to put in place in order for us to ensure that you're able to spend time with your new husband and also get great opportunities to speak internationally. It's just a wonderful time to really dig deep into where we are, what we're doing. And as I have been mentioning, it goes so far beyond just your business. Your business is a huge part of it, but we need to make sure that you have structure and systems in place in other areas and other places that you're working into.
That, I think, is the power of women business owners specifically, is when they are successful, when they are unicorn confidence wearing, when they sparkle and shine, the ripple effects that a woman can have on the world is like nothing else. It can ripple family, how she's raising her children, the husband and supporting him. It can ripple into the communities and the teams that we have. If you have a retail location, the team you have in the community you serve, how you support the community, all the things that you can do as a woman when you are sitting in that kind of success. I was at a conference a couple of weeks ago. It was called the Future Rich Aunties. It's a great group. And one thing that they were talking about was Tyler Perry. He said something really important. He said, you have to build your own boat. And then once you build your own boat, you can go and get the other boats, right? But if your boat is not strong, you can't help other people, and it just makes you weaker and you could drown. And as women, we want to help everybody. So we can't get too distracted by it. But when you are strong and structure and purpose and all of those, and having that clarity, it's like a superpower. And when you have that, now you can go and grab the other boats and you can help other people on your team. You got to build your own boat. So if you're listening and you think this is amazing and you've enjoyed what Shanae and I are sharing, I would love for you to share this with a friend who you know is struggling, who's maybe she's in the boat and she's given to everybody else. Share this episode with them, because I think we all need to support ourselves and each other to strengthen our boats so we can empower more women and more business owners and future business owners. How we show up in this world affects our children. So if this resonates with you and other people who could really learn and grow from this type of messaging, reminders of what's important, please share this with them, because that's how we can grow as well. And more people can experience interviews like Shanae's. Hey there, you've just finished part 1 of the Sparking Ignite Your Marketing episode. How are you feeling? Excited? Inspired? But we're just getting started. Next Tuesday, we're dropping part 2, and you won't want to miss it. Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter so you'll be the first to know when it goes live. Until then, take a breather. Let those ideas simmer, and we'll see you next week.